Yay!
Well, that ought to do it.
Sweet. I don't know if that sound is actually coming through on the video, but if it's not, it's still a good video, right? Hey guys, welcome to the Snark Lounge. Tonight we have a couple special guests. I'm going to go ahead and bring a couple of them. A couple of them are still making their way in. Some of you guys may notice. Yeah. Bunny canceled on us. She did. She's got stuff to do. She's going to Hong Kong. So she had to pack, get all her stuff in, ducks in a row. So tonight, once again, it's a sausage fest. But I want to go ahead and bring in my first guest tonight. We got the man, the myth, the legend, Burbex. How you doing, buddy?
You're all under arrest. This is an unauthorized broadcast.
We're all under arrest.
We're cracking down on you, James. We know who you are. How are you doing, Jimmy?
You know what? I can't complain, man. I can't complain. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. We got the gin and tonics and the police uniform. It's going to be a good live stream tonight, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Nice. So we've got Bryn in. We are waiting for Alex and Radio, who are, as we speak, making their way into the Snark Lounge. So,
but James, where is?
Yeah, Radio says his internet's a little buggy tonight.
Where's Skittles tonight?
I think everybody's internet's a little buggy tonight.
Where's Skittles? The cat.
Skittles is hiding in the other room. He would rather be with Bunny than be with me.
How can you say that? You're such a lovable character.
I know, but it's true. He would much rather be with Bunny than be with me. So I can understand that. But okay, so we got to ask, what's up with the police uniform tonight, man?
Well, I don't know if your viewers know, but I am the leading expert in urban exploration here in China. If you haven't checked out my channel, go and check that out. And recently I have been exploring a lot, and I discovered an abandoned train station, and unusually it was full of police uniforms. Obviously I had to launder this one. I had to wash it first. And, as an urban explorer, I'm usually dodging the security guards and the cops. So I thought this might be a good disguise.
Yep.
I don't know. What do you think, Jimmy?
I think it's very suiting, even if you are just wearing a hat and a coat and no pants.
Oh, what? How did you know I wasn't wearing any pants?
Oh, that was our little secret, wasn't it?
Yeah. Jimmy, are you wearing pants right now?
I plead the fifth. So this is China.
What?
Jerry's in the house. He says Burbex is awesome. Great opening with that police uniform. Brilliant.
Well, thank you. This is China. This is China. What's that guy's name? Does he have a
Jerry?
name?
Otherwise,
Jerry.
Jerry's in South Africa.
Right?
And although if you say his name, actually, it's something like Gerhard. You got to
Yeah.
I can't quite. So we're just going to go with Jerry.
The China police knows who you are, Jerry. We know who you are. We've been watching you very carefully.
True story. True story. So we're going to go ahead and bring in Radio. Hey, Johnny.
Starting off with his smile, the big smile.
Big smile. How you doing, man? Life treating you good?
We can't hear you, Radio.
Oh, can't hear him. He's going to have to pantomime.
It's because the police force are actually censoring radio. He's too political. We don't want him on there. Sorry.
Possibly, yes. You need a license to use that radio. So
I heard you on the radio back in '63.
We're gonna. Hey, that was a song reference. I got that.
Yeah.
So,
I heard you on the wireless back in '62, laying awake intent and tuning in on you.
Yep.
You know,
Video killed the radio star.
That's the one, isn't it?
So, and look at this. Right now, Burbex has a fresh,
I've just got
spanky
two
new subscriber. Spanky new subscriber. Awesome. So, awesome. We have
Germanophile. Well, hello from Germany. Guten Tag, yeah.
Pronounce that better than I can, I think. So, and of course, we have Radio the Artist on the mic. Well,
yeah. Is he there?
Kind of. So,
can we hear him?
Did you get your mic worked out there? All right.
Jamaica Funk. Jamaica. Are you in Jamaica, Jamaica Funk?
Jamaica Funk.
Is that better now?
That's
hey,
much
I can
better.
hear you. It's a miracle. We can hear you. Radio Nana. Nice.
Terrible headphone.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. I don't know. I used to use these like all the time, and then they just stopped working with this computer and everything else. I don't know why. So, Gremlin.
Snarky, I'm interested in that microphone you use. What's that microphone you're using?
This
it's big and beautiful.
This is a Shure MV51. It's built like a tank. This thing is like, it seriously weighs about 2 kilograms.
Wow.
It is
serious microphone action.
Somebody with that.
Back when we were on lockdown, I needed to get a microphone so I could, communicate clearly with my students. And so I got the Cadillac.
The Cadillac, right?
Yeah. So it seems to do pretty good.
Radio, where are you? You're in China too, right? Where do you live in China?
In Wenzhou, same with Alex.
Oh, you should come out and explore with me sometime. That would be awesome.
Oh, cool. Definitely. Yeah. I know I did some other exploration with Alex, and there was another guy I did urban exploration with. Richard, Richard Travelogs. Oh,
yeah, I know Richard.
Man. Yeah, you know Richard. That dude's crazy, man. Like,
yeah, Richard is a crazy guy. We actually, he and I did some collabs together, and he met a very seedy Mexican restaurant here in Shanghai. Let's bring in the last member of our guest today. Alex Absolute.
What's going on? Everyone's like,
how's it going?
Who is
Alex? Where's the
apparently he is doing his best Austin in China impersonation tonight.
What am I doing?
He is a statue.
Oh, okay. Hang on, let me.
Hey guys.
I'm gonna get rid of my I'll get rid of my VPN, see if that makes it any better. Am
I
in now?
Yep.
We're good?
We are having internet kerfuffle out the yin yang day, and that's okay. So guys, today we are going to be talking about, can everybody hear me? Did the internet just completely take a dump?
I can hear you great.
Okay.
Okay.
I worry when everybody gets quiet.
Yeah.
So, and suddenly it's a Johnny show.
Yeah.
Johnny takes over and runs away with it all.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So today we are talking about culture shock. Culture shock, which is, of course, a very heavy topic. I want to start off by a quote by L.P. Hartley. He's a British novelist. The past is a foreign country. Of course, most of us embrace this idea personally, and we moved to a foreign country. So Alex, can you hear me now? Are you live? Let's see.
He's like pursing his lips
Yeah, he's
right
like-
now, right?
He looks
He's like
yeah, he's gone. So he looked just like
he's catching his evil plan.
looked just like Gary
He
Coleman from
wanted to say
Different Strokes.
something, but he was like, I don't know if I should say this.
Mm.
What you talking
Whoa,
about?
Snarky, that's an amazing face.
So hopefully he will be back. All right, let's see. Hey, Snarky, good morning. Good morning, sir. Nice to see you.
Superman.
We have
Yo-Yo.
Yo-Yo.
Check it out.
Yes. All right. Oh, Jamaica's one of those speakers you'd hang on your car to drive in. Yes. True story. Jamaica Funk, while I'm thinking of it, a couple of guys in my group were trying to get a hold of your WeChat. So if you would like to drop your WeChat into the comments, there's a couple of guys wanting to get a hold of you, maybe invite you on a show later. So we are talking about culture shock. Give me Burbex, Brent, give me your opening thoughts on culture shock in China.
This is actually something I've given a lot of thought to, a lot of serious thought. When I learned about culture shock before coming to China, they said there's kind of 5 different stages in culture shock, and it's kind of like a curve that you go through when you come into culture shock. And the first one is that when you first arrive, everything is very surprising, everything is very new. You kind of enter into that, and every day you're going around just feeling kind of a little bit overwhelmed by everything. So you're walking around and you're thinking, wow, this is so exciting, this is so interesting. Then the second stage is kind of you get into a little bit of familiarity with that, and you kind of get used to the unusualness of everything. And then the next stage is you kind of get a little bit homesick, right? That's the third stage. The third stage is like homesickness. And I think at that point, that's usually when people decide to stay or leave, right? So, you know, that's like the tipping point between stay and leave. Then you get into the fourth, if you decide to stay, then you get into the fourth stage. And by the fourth stage, maybe you've been here, I don't know, a few years or something, and everything is familiar, but maybe you start to resent it a little bit. You start hating it. And so, you know, like those people who you meet in China a lot and they complain about things. And then finally got this fifth stage. And by that fifth stage, it's like everything is, you can deal with anything. You basically become bulletproof. You've been in that country so long, you're so used to it that nothing surprises you anymore. You can deal with it completely. I've been in China, you know, like 16 years. And so basically I'm bulletproof. That's not to say I don't have bad days. Jimmy, how long have you been in China? I don't actually know that. How long have you been here?
Well, this last stretch, I've been in China for about 6 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
Hang loose. But I moved to China when I was a kid in 1991. So how about it, Radio? How long have you been in China?
5 years.
Wow,
5
that's still
years.
pretty long.
So,
I don't look like
so have you gone through any of these steps that Bren was talking about as far as culture shock?
culture shock. Actually, for me, when I first came to China, I wasn't culture shocked at all. I was just like, wow, this is cool. You know, I wasn't really culture shocked. I think maybe my 3rd year, I felt like, okay, I'm definitely in a different place now. I don't know. For me, it was just, it was a slow process for me to like feel any like, I would say shock, but I guess disbelief. You know, I didn't feel anything for a couple years until my 3rd year. And actually, it wasn't even in China. It was in Japan when I felt like, wow, like I'm in Asia. Like, I can't believe it. I'm on the other side of the hemisphere. And just feeling like, you know, just so out of tune with everything, because it's like, wow, I can't believe that, you know, dealing with this kind of situation. I can't believe I'm learning this language. I can't believe that, I'm meeting different types of people that I would never meet back in my hometown. And so I would say I maybe I was culture shocked, but not in a very sudden way. It took me a long time to feel like as though I'm in a different world for a long time. But yeah.
There you go. Well, like anything else, the longer you live in a foreign country, the more culture shock you're going to get, not only towards that country, but your own country. And of course, we're going to be talking about some reverse culture shock. In the meantime, we're kind of waiting for Alex, see if he can make his way back.
Jimmy,
we got our
I've got
first question here.
Oh.
So, what brought you guys to China? Let's start with Radio here. I want to hear what brought you to China, Radio.
I guess it's like the typical. I wanted to travel. I wanted to see something different. I've been very interested in Asian culture for a long time, and I always wanted to come to. Actually, back to the story originally. I didn't want to come to China. I wanted to go to Japan, but Japan's requirements, the qualifications to teach, are a lot more stricter than China. And so I got a job here. No, not in Wenzhou, in a different city. And in my mind, I thought, well, I'm just going to go to China just to go to Japan. And so I've been here for 5 years, and I think I don't regret doing that. I feel like I made the right decision to come to China, because China basically has changed my life. And especially I came to China when I was 25-ish, almost 26. So I'm still kind of wet behind the ears. I guess I still am. But so it's like a fresh new thing for me, a whole new experience in my life, where I was like, wow, I can't believe I'm here. So yeah, coming to China, I came to China specifically for travel, but I guess I got stuck just working. But I've traveled to many places, and I've made a lot of great friends, and have experienced a lot of amazing things.
Nice. Okay. Same question, Bryn. What brought you to China?
Can I ask you a question first, Snarky? Is that all right?
You can.
So when I first came to China, right, I lived in this big, I'm going to say shithole. Can I say shithole on your show, Jimmy?
I always tell my students language is there for a reason, and if it's appropriate, use it.
Sorry. So I was in this big city in China, in the north of China, called Changchun for the first year that I was in China. And I was, like I was just talking about the first stage of culture shock, where, like everything is new, everything is different. And for about the first 6 months, I'd be walking down the street. And at that time, there were a few million Chinese people that live in that city, and about 500 foreigners, right? So I'd walk down the street, and people would shout, like taxi drivers would open the window and they'd shout, "Why, Warren? La why?" They'd literally yell at me, right? And you start feeling kind of quite alienated, because all around you is Chinese people, and you're like the only foreigner around. But then after about 6 months, right, I started to forget that I was surrounded by Chinese people, and I just started to, started thinking that I was surrounded just by people, right?
There you go.
Not foreigners or Chinese people or anything like that, just surrounded by people, and that's something else to talk about. But Jimmy, you've grown up in Asia, right? So do you have that? Do you often get that feeling that you're different from Chinese people, that there's this separation between you because you've grown up here, right? You've grown up in Hong Kong, you've grown up in China. Do you have that feeling of separation?
Well, yes and no. Every time I go back to the United States, I keep on feeling it's weird. The signs are just in English, and when I was a kid, we moved my grandpa from the United States over here. All my family lives over here. We moved him over here because he had Alzheimer's. You know, it was on, but no one's home. And he would walk around and he's like, wow, there's sure a lot of Chinamen around here. And shut up, Grandpa. He didn't know where he was. He thought he was in Illinois somewhere. He's like, oh, really? They're everywhere. Asian people everywhere. Shut up, Grandpa. But, you know, I mean, like anything else, you know, I went to schools in Hong Kong. I went to, you know, everyone I knew, you know, was Chinese. So it wasn't really a big difference to me. It was just, you know, just like Dr. Seuss says, you know, people are people, you know, regardless of what color, you know, or what language, or people are people. So we have a question here. Someone's saying, where are you guys in China? What province? Bryn, what province are you in right now?
Shanghai right now.
The internet is moving ever so gingerly. Radio, what province are you in right now?
I'm in Zhejiang province.
Awesome. I think Alex may be making his way back. Let's see if Alex is. He's moving.
Oh,
he's moving.
Right.
He's here.
I need to leave from here. I need to leave from here and come back in again on the other one. Just a second.
Okay. See that? He's just like a date. He pops in, says his bit, and he's out.
That's not my date, Snarky.
Yep. So, Austin, holy crap, don't understand the dress, but I feel Burbex get up needs to be talked about. We did, but just for Austin, can you address the get up again?
Well, where was I exploring recently? I was exploring an abandoned train. You know, like I do urban exploration. That's like going around abandoned buildings, and I think I'm probably the only foreigner that really does it seriously in Shanghai. And I was exploring an abandoned train station close to the Bund, and it was actually a pretty cool place. But the standout feature of this was when I went into a room which was filled with policemen's uniforms. And as James has already mentioned, I'm not wearing any pants right now. And you can see, like, I've got the whole get up. I had to give it all a clean first. And now I'm a fully fledged member of the Shanghai police force. So, Austin, I know where you live. You better watch out. Yeah. Oh, the other point is, if you want to see a policeman's sexy striptease this evening, you better leave some super chats for Jimmy so that he can buy more beer and whatever James likes to buy. So if we can get enough super chats tonight, there will be a policeman striptease. How's that? Can't say further than that. What do you think, Jimmy? Is everything going slow?
All right. I don't know if we are still live. The internet is up and down and all over the place today. Let's see if we got Alex back. Alex,
well, that's been
are you
fun.
back?
Yeah, I'm back on a mobile phone now. It's been a whole. Yeah, I try not to swear, but yeah, it's been a whole bunch of shit. It's suddenly the internet went, oh crap. And then just as I got onto my mobile phone, just then, I was like, I can see on the computer screen over here, I was like, oh, it's good, it's back. I'll just go back and switch over to my Sony, which is the better camera. Switch back onto that, and within 2 seconds of Burbex just starting to talk about something, then it just all froze up again. So it's back to the phone. Great. Yeah, fantastic. 29 minutes late to the show. Yes.
There you go. There you go. Better late than never. Someone is asking me, where is Bunny? Well, a funny story. She had other things to do. She's packing. She's flying out to Hong Kong for a few days, take care of some family business. So, unfortunately, it's a sausage fest again tonight, gentlemen.
Well, what kind of sausage are you, Jimmy?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What kind of sausage are you?
Kind of sausage am I? You know, I'd have to say I'm a German cheese-filled sausage.
Oh, when you take a bite out of it, it squirts everywhere, right?
True story. True story. So, yeah, Jamaica Funk internet has been horrible. It has been, man. It has been. Internet has just been terrible.
Internet's overrated.
The morning seems a better time for the internet at the minute. But yes, like in the Saturday morning shows, it's always quite good. I do that a lot of times straight off my phone. But yeah, the evening times, it seems at the minute the internet's gone kind of weird, eh?
Yeah, it's been all over the place. So let's try to get back on topic here if we can. We're talking about culture shock. Let's talk about language. How does language affect the culture we live in? Do you find your own culture changes as you learn Chinese? Let's go right to Alex on that.
Well, yeah, I have like I recently had someone who I know from back home. She'd started watching my videos, and she said, "Oh, you sound awfully American now." And I was just like,
"That's a growing thing."
That's my heart. You can hear my heart breaking inside me. I was like, "I'm English. I'm not American. No offense to anybody American, but there's so much American English here in China that I guess I've started picking up things. I don't think I sound any different, but I guess maybe. I don't know. I also have a thing like now I explain stuff to people because like most of the people that I know here have been in China for quite a long time. So I use like half Chinese, half English. Like, you know, you'd be like somebody might say, "Oh, do you want to go there?" And I'll be like, "Nah, way too mafan. I don't want to go there." So if you ever speak to people back home, people that don't know anything about Chinese, then they're like, to what?
Well, Alex, you know the whole Megwashi bro.
Megwashi bro, yeah.
Megwashi bro.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, Radio. How do you think language has affected your culture or culture shock since you've been in China?
Language for me, I'm still quite a novice compared to Alex, but I do use it part of my language every day, especially when I teach my students. So sometimes I use it in a funny way,
Ask Tony about his best line.
Oh, booyah spicy.
Me and Johnny were getting some food once in it's like one of those Mogafan places where you choose all the different vegetables and then they just kind of fry it up in like one pot. And I refused to have one with Johnny because I like weapons grade, in your face spicy kind of stuff. And Johnny, he was trying to explain to these little Wentonese people, like, because I just spoke to them in Wenzhouhua and like communicated what I wanted. It was fine. And then they looked to Johnny and they kind of obviously expected Johnny to be able to communicate in the same kind of way. And Johnny just went, booyah spicy. They just kind of looked at him like, Shama?
Nice.
Good time.
So someone is going to congratulate you on Alex on becoming an American.
Yeah, watch out. If your garden's got oil in it, I'm going to drill in it.
So our native Chinese speaker here, Bryn, how has language affected your China experience?
I think it's given me I think often when you come to another country, you kind of have a new personality. So, for example, I think that my Chinese personality is a little bit more cheeky, a little bit more naughty than I necessarily am. And even within that, I have different kinds of personalities, different kinds of Chinese voices that I get in my head. So, for example, I lived a long time in Beijing. So sometimes, like, I have this Beijing voice in my head, and that's like, ni sai gao shen me ne? Ni. For example, like, your ni here in Dongbei is called your Bolagar. 这个是我的东北的口音，是这样。But then when you're down here in Shanghai, if you talk like that to people, they're like, 啥意思啊? And they don't actually know what you're talking about. So, like, I have to adjust my voice a little bit when I'm here. But if somebody pisses me off here, I will revert to the Northeast Chinese because I think it intimidates the Southerners a little bit. It's a very heavy voice. Yeah, Jamaica. I'm really not wearing pants. I've got my underwear on, but no pants. And Master Q said about YMCA. Master Q, if you give me a thumbs up, I'll do a YMCA dance for you. How's that? Huh? Yeah. YMCA. I'm an expert. I know all the words. Not in Chinese though. I bet Alex can do. I think we should all do it, right? Jimmy, Alex, Radio, we could all do it together, right?
Unfortunately, I got no Baijiu tonight, so
and
less
you're wearing
inclined to do that.
Oh my god! Oh, we're back.
Here, careful! YouTube will demonetize you for that.
Well,
hey, demonetize you for anything, really.
Yeah.
I got my first demonetization the other day for a Hong Kong video.
There you go.
Great.
There you go.
I don't know if it's fully demonetized, but it's the little yellow one, and it says partial adverts.
Partial adverts.
It was monetized to start with, so fuck them. I've already made the money.
Nice. Nice.
Not that I make much anyway, but.
So, as far as customs are concerned, do you find that the customs, obviously, they're a little different than being in America or Britain for you cheeky Brits there, but how does this differ from your home culture? And is there any customs in China you particularly like or dislike in comparison to your home culture? Let's go to Radio directly on that.
I would say Chinese people are more direct. They're more like less PC. That's something like America is like big, like PC culture now, and like you can't be saying this and very sensitive. So being in China, like Chinese people are like, oh, you look fat, and I'm like, really? I look fat? You know, I didn't know that. And some people might get offended to that. So I guess being in China for a long time, it changed my way of like, I guess sometimes being direct is a good thing instead of just being like, oh, you know, be all nice and peachy with everybody, right? And then I think sometimes the one thing, the negative side of being in the culture in China is, I always say this a lot, but me first culture. So it's like everybody will cut in front of you in line, people push you, people like, hey, like in the way. Or for me, it's always been a growing trend, but I always get those guys on like the motorbikes, the electric bikes. They always trying to like run towards me. And I'm like, you know, I'm crossing the road. Why are you trying to like hit me or something? Or like people driving their cars and they see you crossing the road and they don't stop. They just want to like run you over. And so like the whole just courtesy, it's something that's a little bit of a negative for me. So
I don't think it's like a lack of courtesy. It's just they have different courtesies, right? Like people here will fall over themselves to go out of their way to look after you if you're a guest. I think it's like people misunderstand a lot of like the things which we find rude in the West. They don't find rude. There's a lot of things that we wouldn't find rude. They would find rude. I used to make a lot of social faux pas when I first came here. I'm trying to think of them offhand, but like like if somebody in the West is like, "Hey, I'll pay for the meal," you'd be like, "Awesome!" Like whereas here, people would fight to pay the bill. I find there's a lot of really nice cultural things here. Like the family aspect of China is amazing. Like I guess it's not so much seen for people that don't have a Chinese family or whatever, but for like those of us that do, it's like the families. I'm not saying that families in the West don't like look after each other or anything like that before anybody gets down in the comments with that one, but like here it's like the family really, really does pitch in to like look out for each other. Like they'll all lend money to like somebody who they want who's trying to buy a house or something and like buy the house for them, and like they'll all band together to look after the children. Just a lot of things that you wouldn't see back home, which is really nice. there are some funny cultures, like Johnny said, the me first thing, but you just gotta get involved. Like I now learn that when I'm on the bus, I just arrow straight through people, or like when the bus doors open, I just walk straight out and straight into wherever
You need
people are standing. And if they're
elbow.
trying to get on first, I just point to the door and it says "Xian Sha."
Alex,
Like
tell
no.
the people the story about the taxi driver. Taxi, remember? When I was trying to get to a taxi and I cut in front of the family.
Oh yeah, yeah. So Johnny, we were waiting for a taxi, and Johnny decided that he would like there was a family just going for this taxi, and before I knew it, Johnny just skirted random and he was in. And before the taxi had even finished, the taxi hadn't even come to a stop. I think we both had got in the taxi. He got in the taxi, so I just kind of followed him. But the taxi never actually stopped. We just carried on sliding, and the family were just like, "Ooh." As we went off, but I mean, it's all Johnny, not me. I'm not that kind of guy.
It sounds like a good story.
Sometimes I think you gotta just get involved with like things on the bus and when it's busy. There are people that it's usually like the senior citizens that are a bit rude, but it's I think here one thing that I've kind of got, which is a little bit negative, is I get a little bit more impatient about stuff. Like I'll be like waiting, come on. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of the stuff here I kind of like. Like I think one thing that I like, which has nothing to do with the actual culture. I guess it is a massive part. I don't know how it ties in. I like chopsticks. Like now, if I go to somewhere and they haven't got chopsticks, I'm like the opposite of the first day foreigner. I'm asking for the chopsticks. No, I don't want that.
There you go.
When we went back to England, me and my wife took chopsticks back because we weren't sure of how many places we were going to be able to have them. So,
yeah, I know that one. A couple of times when I was back in America, I'd go to a restaurant and I'd ask for chopsticks. And like, oh, you can use chopsticks.
Don't get me started.
Yeah.
So like for me, like, because I eat I'm the different type of person. I eat chopsticks with my left hand, not on my right hand. So Chinese people are like, whoa, you smart. You eat chopsticks with your left hand. And then one time, a restaurant owner was just like looking at me and staring me hard to death, and everyone was at the restaurant staring at me. And like, whoa, chopstick with his left hand. And then I paused and I looked around and I switched the chopstick to my other hand. And they were like, whoa, this guy, whoa, where is he from? Because I
now when you go in a restaurant, you have to ask for the left-handed chopsticks or the right-handed chopsticks.
Oh, no. I did the whole switcheroo, and they was like, whoa, this guy can eat chopsticks with both hands.
If you did them with both hands at the same time, you'd be like a crab.
No, yeah.
Or you can eat twice as much.
Yeah.
You can just be loading and loading and loading.
I think though there's like these little things that you don't necessarily notice sometimes. Like for example, when people push in front of you in the queue, it's like a conscious feeling that you get of irritation. But like sometimes I'll be just walking down the street. This is how I walk down the street, and then you hear this certain noise, and this noise actually produces like a physical reaction in me, and it's like, and the noise that I hear.
Oh, that is the worst.
Yeah,
it's like instinct.
Old people on the bus.
Just get away from it, and I get this. You see, like I got a wrinkle just here. This wrinkle is my China wrinkle from when I do this.
True story.
I'm not even
on the metro the other day. I'm on the metro, and this guy starts doing that, and he's doing it for like 2 stops.
Oh no!
And you're just waiting for it. It's like no, and you know it's coming. And it's like, what can you do? What can you do?
Oh, you get that old guy in your neighborhood. He's like, you sound like he's gonna have a heart attack. Like he's like, and I'm like, whoa, like somebody call an ambulance, and he's just spitting all over the place, right? But
that dude that can hack a loogie like 3 meters away.
I have a question. Has anyone raise your hand if you had a picture taken by a whole family, like the whole family?
A what taken?
Can I?
Oh yeah.
Yes. I'm pretty sure our pictures are hanging like on their wall somewhere.
What did they do with these pictures? What did they do with them?
I reckon there's a gallery somewhere.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, gallery foreigner.
Surprised foreigner of the month.
Well, as a resident foreigner who has more to love around the middle, I get people walk up all the time. They smile and they try to rub the belly. It's like
you're like the lucky Buddha, right?
Yeah, like are you expecting a 3 wishes, to pop out or something? A genie comes out. Greetings! You have awakened the lucky genie of the Laowai's belly. What would you like?
You should walk around, those snakes which you can get, like the toys where you open the can and the snakes jump out. Yeah. You should put some of those up your. Just walk around permanently with them up your t-shirt, ready for that moment when somebody rubs your belly, and then bam.
Or you should do you should wear like the Tickle Me Emo, the little button that.
Well,
I think you've been tickled before radio.
There was a guy. Some of you may be familiar with. There was a foreigner who used to live in China by the name of Sea Milk, and his suggestion to me was that I walk around with a live chicken in my pants. And the first one to actually walk up and rub my belly, I just pull that live chicken out, give it to him, and walk away and say nothing else.
I mean, that's a solid idea, but how long would the chicken survive realistically in your pants?
But
would you need
your pants with all the other stuff you keep in there?
Just imagine walking in the metro with a chicken in your pants. Like, what's that smell?
My chicken, obviously. Wasn't
worse yet.
Shit my pants, my chicken.
You get in the metro, and of course you have to open your bag. So you open your bag, open it. It's like nothing in my bag, nothing over here. Just live chicken, sir. Shove that chicken back in, and you go.
When they do the X-ray.
Why are your trousers clucking?
So, or you just lay on the conveyor belt and go on through.
Brilliant.
Terrible. All right. So we're talking about customs, obviously. Let's move on to clothing. Do you ever feel pressured to dress Chinese? Here.
No.
Radio.
No, not at all. No.
No?
No,
I
would say
I have t-shirts that are Chinese. I like this one. This is quite funny.
It's like the sizes are all weird. Like you get this shirt, right? And then you go to a different store and you get the same shirt, but it's bigger. And I'm like, but it's the same size. Like, what's going on here? Or pants is the worst for me. Buying pants in China is terrible.
Buying clothes in China is the worst.
Because I buy pants, right? And it's like, whoa, this fits perfect. And then I go back, get the same pair of pants, same size. And it's like, this feels bigger. Like, what's going on here? I guess.
Well, that's the problem in China for buying clothes in snarky size. Even on Taobao, you buy something that's 5X and it's about the size of, a pre-present girl. It's just the completely arbitrary.
You need to make space for the chicken too, right?
What was that?
You need chicken groin.
Chicken trousers.
Yeah. I need like an extra pouch there to put the chicken.
Special Chinese traditional clothing. Chicken trousers.
We talked about chickens like two live streams ago. Remember, we had a conversation about chickens. Chicken nuggets or something.
Yeah.
Chicken nuggets in your pants. Chicken nuggets in your pants is a whole different ballgame, my friend.
Yes.
You should ask Colin a broadcast about chicken nuggets.
Yeah, you don't want to deep fry.
That sounds like a big sexy reveal.
That's just bad news all over the place. We don't want that. So
I'm shining.
Oh, here we go. Is that a chicken in your pants? Are you just happy to see me? Yeah, we're gonna go into the we're gonna get into the oh, here we go. Live chicken in my pants. True story.
True story.
Yeah. We're gonna get into the double entendres. Oh, we've already gotten to double entendres longer than you think. All right, we're already there. We're already there, definitely. So, all right. So, as far as clothing is concerned, is there any Chinese clothes that you think that you like seeing in China? Any style that you like seeing that you don't see back home?
I like a lot of the designs. Like they do some really cool design. Like my wife finds a lot of things that I find cool, not cool, because like I guess for her it's quite normal. But I like a lot of anything that just has like cool, like the traditional Chinese style handwriting on it. That looks quite cool because it doesn't matter what it means. It just looks awesome. Like there's some really good graphic designers which make some cool T-shirts. I like funny stuff as well. You see this on my wrong side here. This just means the hope of the whole village, which is kind of like a funny joke in China. People are like, ha ha ha, oh, that's quite funny. I tried actually changing my Weibo name to this, and it's already taken by someone famous, so they wouldn't let me have it. So I had to get a little workaround. But I think there is some cool like clothing. There is some wacky stuff though. Like
really wacky.
People seem to wear trousers that are like they're like way
Yeah.
up, like swinging above your ankles, and you're like, did you buy the wrong size? Like, what's wrong? What's the deal with that? Like in England, people call those ankle biters, and here it's like a thing, right?
The pants remind me when my mother used to buy pants when I was a kid, and she bought it too small, and my friends like, you wear high foot pants. And I'm like, oh, I'm so embarrassed.
It's a thing, right?
Banish it.
Nice.
I have to say, like, I like Chinese uniforms. So, like I guess in the UK, people, the cops would wear like smaller hats, but everything here is kind of like a big hat. And I've started building a collection of like security guard uniforms. One from this is a Shanghai police uniform, but I've got one which is like this gigantic furry coat that Beijing security guards wear. And I think if you look in the north, you get like this big chunky clothes. In the autumn, the winter, maybe you wear like long johns. Do you guys wear long johns, like the firmly insulated ones?
Oh,
like
I do when it's cold in the winter time. Yeah.
They wear them all year round. Like you see old ladies walking down the street in pajamas, like pink pajamas with a little bunny rabbit on it, or if they're outside the hospital.
That's one of the
the old dudes walking on his pajamas all the time. They got the matching tops and bottoms. They're walking out, They got the cigarette hanging on their lip.
Have you guys ever tried going outside in pajamas, though? It's pretty liberating.
You were wearing PJs in your house, Snarky. I remember that.
What was that? One more time.
You came out in slippers and PJs when I came to your house. I remember that.
Hey. I put on pants when you came over.
I see the coolest PJs I wore when I was a kid. Remember that movie Small Soldiers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the pajamas to go with the action figures. I don't know. I was back then, but still am probably. But yeah, PJs were cool back in now. No PJs. Weird.
PJs were cool back in Nam.
Shorts.
What?
I actually got some of the the Chinese pajamas which look like they could protect you from a nuclear blast. The really thick, furry ones, and they're amazing. Like I've been out to the shops in them. I was like, I'm gonna try it. Like everybody else, it looks so shufu. Like it looks so comfortable. I'm gonna try that, and it's pretty cool. Like it does feel amazing. But those pajamas, I don't know how anybody wears them in the south of China, right? Because they're hot as hell. Like even when it's cold, they are ridiculously hot.
Oh, check it out! Radio's got the jammies.
Oh,
he's rocking the jammies.
Look at that
purple one.
It's a nice color as well. Yeah.
Dude looks like Prince.
Yeah.
Did you have them just handy by the side of the light just in case?
It's hilarious because when I first came to China, I saw like an old man wearing like the traditional, like the Chinese pajamas, right? Just walking around in the winter, like going to a convenience store. And I was like, you can wear that? And then I bought it. So now every winter, I just go outside wearing this with my slippers on. People just look at me like, what's wrong with him?
Well, wait, what's
go back in the house.
What is Burbex wearing? He's wearing a dog. He's wearing a dog.
Be careful. Some people might interpret that. Oh, cute dog.
You can get out of here now.
Yeah, nice dog.
Nice. So one of my neighbors, one of the old shoes, which is uncle, of course. He's got those old nuclear pajamas, and his grandson has a matching pair with a split crotch. And so he's just sitting them down there, and they make that little sound at the kids, trying to encourage them to go wee on the sidewalk. Oh yeah.
We have a family that lives downstairs in our building, and until recently I'd never seen them in anything like the mom, the dad, the grandpa, the grandma, the child, all just wearing pajamas. We just referred to them as the pajama family. And then I think it was like a few months ago, we saw them out, and they were wearing clothes, and I didn't recognize it first until my wife was like, "That's the pajama family," and I was like, "No way! I wouldn't even recognize them."
The pajama family.
The pajama family, yeah.
Nice.
Thing. They literally just
one families asking if we've ever worn Zhongshan-fu before. That's like that. Like in the West we have collars like this, but in China they tend to have these collars like this, right? It's very square.
Yeah,
but it just makes my head look float like a balloon. I think.
Funny enough, I bought a shirt like that in H&M. They were selling that style shirt in H&M. Like H&M have this, but
you have it right beside you, right?
Yeah.
I have a couple of the French wing shirts, where they just got no collar, basically just a little tiny little bit fold those over there, because there's a tailor shop here where you can get tailor-made shirts for I guess 1,000, 1,500. So tailor-made shirts are not expensive here, which is great.
Master Q remembers the video I did. Snarky did a video on Chinese fashion. If it was ever anything in fashion or currently in fashion, yeah, it's currently in fashion now. True story.
A lot of hype beasts. Actually, a lot of kids that I teach, they all wear the Nikes and the Jordans and
Jordans.
I'm like, where do you get these? This is more than how much are you paying for this? Of course, parents are buying it, but a lot of the new generation Chinese, they're wearing pretty much hip hop clothing. A lot of
I bought real stuff the other day, and it was not the other day, a few months back. I bought some real the Adidas, the not Yeezys, but they look kind of like Yeezys, but leather Yeezys. Look kind of swish. I've been buying fake Yeezys for ages because they're super cool and super comfortable. Not more comfortable because they just feel like you're wearing socks, but they're actual shoes, right? And so I thought, maybe now I'll spend some big money and get some real ones from a real shop. And they suck. They're not comfortable, and they broke at the back pretty easy. So back to fakes for me.
It broke at the back. That sounds like a wardrobe malfunction, my friend. Sounds like a wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah, sounds like.
Can I ask the radio a question?
You'd be just like those kids, walking off the open pants so they can go pee and their thing. So, okay, you had a question, sir.
I guess it's going a bit deeper into the whole culture thing because, Radio was just saying about the kids going around wearing Nike Air or hip hop clothes. Actually, the place where I work, a lot of the kids they get their hair crimped, right? So it actually kind of gives them an afro. And when I ask them about it, they call it fei jiu xing, which literally means afro. So, Radio, I'm wondering, as a black man here, how does it feel like? Do you feel like that's cultural appropriation? And how would you feel about things like that?
Cultural appropriation. Well, it's a very interesting topic because it could be a whole video in itself. Because especially China, hip hop is pretty big in China. And it coincides with the Black Lives Movement, the moment where a lot of people complaining that a lot of Asians are not speaking out on that because hip hop originated from Black culture, right? New York, the birthplace of hip hop, and so especially Koreans are huge into hip hop, so they wear the clothing, they do the hair, and a lot of people feel like they're appropriating Black culture because they don't really appreciate the art. They don't really put a lot of effort into understanding and learning about Black culture.
I don't think you have to though. I think that's bullshit. All this cultural appropriation stuff, like every country appropriates other cultures to an extent. Like Bible stories are being appropriated from other previous, like the whole Christianity thing's been borrowed from like other religions. China here, a lot of them have the big white wedding dress. That's Western culture. We have lots of like Asian culture influences. I think every culture kind of takes little bits from here and there, and people get on their high horses and be like, "Oh, that's cultural appropriation. You don't appreciate this." It's like a lot of people take their own stuff and they make it their own. Like hip hop may have started from wherever it started,
Well,
but the guys that are doing it here are doing it for the music. Like, why do you need to know about the culture?
Well, I think the reason why, especially when it comes to Black culture, is very sensitive because of the historical situation, what's happened to African Americans, especially in America, of course, obviously, with slavery and Jim Crow laws and segregation. And so, especially like with jazz, for example, when jazz was like a big deal in the 1950s and 60s, right? A lot of musicians weren't getting a lot of recognition, but yet a lot of white artists who were doing the same music were getting more appeal. And especially like rock and roll, like Little Richard, right? You know, Little Richard was so big, right? But he never got the credit. Yet Elvis Presley is like the king of rock and roll, right? But he took a lot of inspiration, I guess you could call it inspiration, from a lot of Black artists. And so I think, yes, people complain that culture appropriation, it's not a big deal, but if people, when the people who are getting their culture taken away from them, and that those type of people are getting more recognition than where the original culture is coming from, a lot of people get offended about that.
I can understand that.
So, like, I mean, I would say this, like, I mean, it's okay. I don't have no big deal with like Chinese kids wearing like hypebeast clothing, right? But as long as they understand and learn where that culture is coming from, and they appreciate it and know the history, and at least support that culture.
But
instead of just
Ray,
wearing
do you think that they actually do understand that culture and that they do support that culture, or are they just like blindly following it?
Yeah. So like it's nothing wrong with that. As long as they, I think that's why I think I think cultural appropriation is a very interesting topic, because some people agree with it, some people don't. Some people have a little bit of their own opinions on it, but I think cultural appropriation, it could be quite sensitive to a certain group of people, especially when they harnessed and they created that culture. And somebody takes it, it's like, oh, this is me, and look at me, like I did this. And that's even worse when they think they're the ones that started it. And it's like, oh, I did this. And it's like, no, that came from Native Americans. That came from...
But Radio, have you appropriated any Chinese culture, do you think? Is there anything like when you go back to the States, you're like, whoa, look at me. I'm Chinese.
No, I would say no.
It's appropriated spicy food.
No.
Yeah, well, that's come on now. It's a little too much.
Any minute, we're getting back to the chicken in the pants.
I would say influenced by the culture to the point where I kind of morph it into my own original self, not just blatantly copying it and claim it that it's my culture. Actually, it's Michelle Obama said something a couple years ago. She said to understand a culture, you have to be part of the culture.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, they understand the culture, but they don't partake in the culture, right? Like all of us actually, we do partake in the culture. All of us, we are in Chinese culture. We give a lot to Chinese culture, and we learn a lot from Chinese culture. So we are okay, but there's people.
Oh, we lost him.
He lost him.
He's been appropriate.
Mic drop. Boom.
Mic drop. Boom. Yeah. I think I'm gonna have to dip as well. I got the family emergency arising here.
All right. Well, guys, in that case, if Radio's gone and Alex is Radio's backstage, he's back.
Radio's back.
So let's wrap this up. I planned for this being an hour. Culture shock, reverse culture shock. Let's give 30 seconds to Bryn. Go.
Well, I can remember one experience I had the first time I went back. I'd stayed in China like 3 or 4 years, and it was the first time I went back, and I went to the O2 Arena for like a business meeting at the O2 Arena, and that was the worst reverse culture shock I ever had, because there was a Rihanna concert taking place at that arena, and it was just a massive field of blonde Essex girls there, and I actually had a little bit of a panic attack because I was so used to seeing Chinese people's hairs. All that blonde hair freaked me out a little bit. So reverse culture shock definitely exists. Yes, it's true, Snarky.
True story.
Yeah.
All right.
True story. Rihanna concert.
Culture shock, reverse culture shock. 30 seconds.
Reverse culture shock for me has been kind of strange, because like I've been here 7 years now, and I've actually left China 4 times. Last year I went back to France, and like right at the beginning I went back to England once, so it was only like a year in. Wasn't enough time to really get proper culture shock. The last time I went back to England, 2017, I took my in-laws, my wife, my oldest son, because the newest one wasn't born then, and yeah, that was some big culture shock then. And it was kind of like things like I walked into like a Tesco supermarket, and like we've been out in like Wells is like a very country nice area, so it wasn't busy really outside, but when I walked into this like supermarket and turned, and there were all these people in like the dining area, and in the whole place it was kind of busy with people, and like in Jurassic Park, when they walk in, and they walk in, I can't remember which area it is they walk in, and there's all these raptors, and they all suddenly go, Rrr. That's kind of what it felt like, but with white people. And I was like, oh my God, I've not seen this many like white people all in the same room for forever. Because like when you're here, you either see like your small groups of foreigners, or like you see them intermittently, especially in Wenzhou, a small city of 9.6 million people. You don't see foreigners often. I go days without seeing foreigners. So like to walk into a place and they're all there, and it just felt like, whoa, I just want to duck and run. Yeah, that was kind of strange. Also, when you do things like, like you shout "Fuyan" like in a restaurant, and everybody's like, "Oh, you can't do that here." Politeness. Yeah, there's a few different things that you have to kind of really catch yourself on a few things. But yeah, it can.
Nice.
It's definitely a real thing.
All right, let's wrap this up. Radio culture reverse cultural shock. 30 seconds. Talk to us.
Actually, I haven't been back to the States in 5 years.
Wow.
Johnny,
Yeah, I've been that's because every year I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go home. I end up traveling some other place.
Probably for the best right now, though.
Yeah, I haven't been back in 5 years, so I would say yes, I have experienced reverse culture shock in another Asian country. When I went to Japan, I wanted to buy something at a 7-Eleven. And I can't use my phone to pay. I had to use cash, because Japan is very a cash society. They don't use phone to pay for things. So I was like, this is weird. Like, I can't believe that you guys don't use phones. But yeah, I haven't been back in 5 years. I came when I was 25, so I'm still kind of like, wow, like everything is so new, and I just wanted to explore and just see a lot of things. And my parents every year are like, okay, are you gonna come home now? I said, no, I'm in Vietnam, in Hanoi, or I'm in Indonesia and Bali. No, I'm in Thailand and the beach, So I guess you could say I'm enjoying my Asian life.
Nice.
Back home. I eventually will go home. Eventually, one day, soon, after all the situations settle down.
I experienced that. I hadn't been back to the States in like 5 years, and I'm like, oh, what is this cash you speak of? You're used to, just whipping out my phone and paying for something right there. And, political culture, pop culture being what it is, political correctness. I'm just was not prepared for that at all. But, for me, the big thing is when you're away, you're thinking, well, things going to stay the same in America or back home, and they don't. Life goes on. You kind of wonder, what would life be back there? For me, what would life be like if I was still back there? And of course, you're not. You're here. But, I find that I like where I'm at. I like my life. And like anything else, I think that's what's important. But
Snark is pretty
guys,
great.
I appreciate you guys all joining us. We scheduled us for about an hour, a little bit over here. But for all you guys watching, we appreciate you guys watching us. Please show all the guys on the panel some love. Like, subscribe, and like anything else, always carry a can of sardines. You never know.
I should have bought one this time, shouldn't I?
On my pizza.
Yeah. Maybe
just
that
ordered
one's
a
all
banger of a
dented up
t-shirt
like
today.
this. This one's that had a hard life. He's had a very hard life.
You don't want to eat
But
that.
in any case, guys, thanks for joining us, and we will catch you next week on the Snark Lounge.
Peace.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Awkward pause before we're still live.
And